What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com. And in the last Dynasty video, we went through our first season with Tennessee. It was an amazing year. 11-2. We won the Heisman. We didn't end it well. We got blown out by Florida State, but it was a good year nonetheless. And we done a lot of recruiting. We done all of the off-season fun stuff in that last video. And now today, we're going to do our preseason fun with season 2. We're going to do a little red shirting. We're going to look at our schedule. We're going to do some more recruiting. The first thing I want to talk about is, if you notice on the cover of the magazine, this is year 2020 of my Dynasty file. Hard to believe. You look at the bottom of the overlay. This is my 15th season. Just incredible what a run we've been on. But as we all know, 2020 was an awful year for us all, the worst year in our country's history. It was just terrible. But somebody made up a really good point and idea that I want to try out. So what we're going to do, every game, we are going to pick a position. I created this wheel. It's the COVID player wheel. So I'm going to go and select this before every game. And these are all the main positions. And whatever it lands on, for example, it lands on the free safety, I'm going to sit out our starting free safety. So these are all of the starters. So in this case, Matt Green would not be playing in our first game coming up. But I'm going to do this before every game. I think this will be a really cool little feature, a nice little storyline for this season. Thank you, whoever came up with that idea. The next thing I want to talk about is preseason options, and let's look at our schedule. I've already set this up. Out of the gate, A+ strength of schedule, and we're going to head up to Happy Valley to take on number 8 Penn State. I was going to either schedule them or Iowa State. I think I may schedule the Cyclones next season or something. But the season's going to start off hot. Going to take on the Nittany Lions, and then we're going to have our first home game against Wake Forest. I wanted to schedule a Carolina school because that's a big pipeline for us. And then we're going to start our conference schedule at home against Florida. We got to find a way to beat that team. And then we got a bad luck draw in the conference. We're now rotating with LSU for the next 2 seasons. Arguably the second best team in the conference outside of us, I guess, since we beat them in the SEC. Either way, they're loaded for bear this year. Then we got another home game. We're going to take on Stanford, and then we're going to take on the rest of our conference schedule at Georgia. We got an open day, then Alabama at home, at South Carolina, Ole Miss, then we got at Vanderbilt, and then at Kentucky. So I always strive to get like an A+ schedule, and this time I made sure I had a Power 5 school in every slot, and we do. So Stanford, Wake Forest, and then Penn State. Going to be a really fun schedule. Let's go look at redshirting players. I've already done this. Let's go over to quarterback. So my one rule when it comes to redshirting, I don't redshirt juniors or seniors. When it comes to quarterback, CJ Rhodes, the in-state kid, really excited about what he can do. He's just not going to play for us this season. As you can tell, we got plenty of bodies there. We're going to redshirt him. Halfback. So the first thing I want to talk about is Pedro Daniels. I had changed his number. He is now number 4. Anybody who's watched Napoleon Dynamite, one of the greatest movies ever, vote for Pedro. I had to give him number 4. So Gary Lowe has his old number that Pedro had, which is number 6, which we'll check out here in a minute. But anyway, vote for Pedro. You notice our 3 freshmen. You got Pedro, Julius Gray, and John Daniels. I'm not going to redshirt any of them. All 3 are going to get equal opportunity. They're going to split the reps, and hopefully by the end of the season, like 1 or 2 guys really stand out, and we can give them the ball a little bit more. So all 3 are going to get their chance. Now, you notice here, Julius Gray's the slower of the 3, but he's the one that's much stronger, and he can break tackles. So he's going to be my north and south runner. These 2 guys are here, Daniels and Daniels. The brothers, all 3 of these guys came from Texas, but these 2 guys are going to be my burners on the outside. Oddly enough, my best pass catcher of the 3 is Julius Gray. So again, no redshirting here. Fullback, Kyle Rhodes. He's a senior. I'm not going to redshirt him. Wide receiver, we had plenty of opportunities, but I'm going to redshirt the bottom freshman, Chris Myrick. We're going to need all of these guys' help at one point this season. I like to have 5 active, especially since our playbook, we like to vary up with our personnel groupings. Tight end, I'm not going to redshirt anybody here. We need all 3 of these guys at some point. Tackle, I want 4 active. So at the very bottom, we're going to redshirt freshman Matt Lewis. Guard, same here. I need 4 active guards. So we're going to redshirt these 2 bottom guys, Sean Clark and Nate Buckles, both freshmen. Center, I'm really excited about what this kid can do. Roderick Easley, he's a freshman. We won't need him because we got Brandon Jackson. Defensive end. So this is another cool jersey number change. Our top recruit, Jermaine Washington, he is now number 1. Really excited about that. Why is he number 1? George Washington was our first president. Washington, I think you get it. The president, that's what I'm going to call him. Really excited about what this kid can do, and he's definitely going to be playing some this year. I'm not going to redshirt. I can't redshirt Stover. Again, that's part of my rule. He's a junior, so I'm not going to, but we will redshirt Brady Wade, a true freshman. Defensive tackle, I'm going to redshirt this bottom guy down here, true freshman Anthony Wheeler. I think he could be really good for us down the road. Outside linebacker, I want 4 actives. So I'm going to redshirt Russell McNair, but you notice here, all 5 of these guys all have about the same talent, which I think is pretty cool. It's a good problem to have, but we're going to redshirt him. Middle linebacker, I'm not going to redshirt any of these guys. I need these guys active. I like to have about 4 just because we run 3-4 a lot. Quarterback, I'm going to see if we can survive with 4 active. I'm going to redshirt Brian Lawrence. This was another in-state kid, true freshman. And the big reason why we're going to survive with 4 is because we got one guy that's going to be playing some nickel for us. We're going to look at that here in a minute. Free safety, Matt Green, he's obviously not going to be redshirting. Strong safety, I'm not going to redshirt Dargan or Cowan. Obviously, that's part of my rule, but Cowan is actually going to be playing some corner for us. And we're going to look at that here shortly. Kicker, he's not going to redshirt, and of course, our punter isn't going to redshirt. So let's go and look at that depth chart. We'll go here. And most of this is pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to walk you through it. Quarterback, Arthur Keyes, impact guy. He's got to start, obviously. We're going to have Russell Sutton be his backup. No different than what we had last year. Brigham is going to still have his little sub package. I'm going to give that to him just because of that speed. We're going to use that as long as he's here. We're going to do that. Then we got a halfback. It doesn't matter who starts. All 3 of these guys are going to play, so I don't care if who's 1, 2, and 3. So all 3 of these guys are considered starters to me. So that COVID wheel we just looked at, if it lands on halfback, I'm going to take out one of these guys for that game. Again, all 3 of these, I think all 3 are considered starters. Fullback, Carlson is going to be my starter. He's just not so much the speed. Him and Rhodes got the same amount of speed. The awareness is a little bit better. I need somebody who at least can identify a linebacker or a safety. Hopefully he can do a little bit better of that this year. Okay. When it comes to wide receiver, this was the hardest one for me to figure out where to put players. For now, I'm going to have the 2 freshmen start. Jason Grant, the kid out of Michigan, he's going to be my X. And then John Stevenson, he's my speedster of the bunch, but he's 6'7", and he can really jump. We do more jump ball stuff for the outside receivers than we do slot. I almost had this guy in the slot due to his speed. However, I need somebody who can really catch in the slot. I thought Wilson done a really good job of that last year, so he's going to be my slot receiver. And you notice here the catch ratings. Grant, he's got to start. 85 catch for a true freshman is excellent. Hopefully Stevenson can catch. If he struggles to drop balls all the time at Z, we can move him around or whatnot. But for now, Wilson's going to be my slot. And then we got true freshman Ricky Fisher. We got tight ends that can't play in the slot. They're just too slow. So I'm going to have this guy be my number 4 guy. Then we got Mate right behind him. So for now, I'm not going to redshirt Fisher. Besides, we got an empty formation that we're going to look at here in a minute. Either way, I'm really excited about this group. We're just really young everywhere. Just a bunch of freshmen and sophomore. Tight end, Allen's our starter. Hamilton, true freshman's right behind him. I need beef at tight end in this offense. 263. 255. That's why Robinson is nowhere near to be found. He's at 224. Left tackle, Jack Brown started last year. He'll be starting this season. Left guard, it was either Sean Brown or Callahan. I'm going to keep Brown as my starter. He's not as strong, but his awareness is just a little bit better. That'll help with pass blocking. At least it should. But you go over here to pass blocking, he's just a little bit better than Callahan's, and they got the same run blocking. I think it's just either or. But you notice here our backups, freshmen. You look at center, we would have had a freshman, but we're redshirting him. Brandon Jackson's our starter there. Right guard, I'm going to have Bobby Lowe over true freshman Will Wilson. I'm here to tell you our entire backup offensive line, second string, freshman. Again, that's a good problem to have, but we're going to have Bobby Lowe start. Strength at 93 is excellent. I need somebody who can really push at the guard spot. Right tackle, our best offensive lineman, Chad Hale. Obviously, he's going to be starting there, but right behind him, another true freshman. Let's look at the defense. So Jermaine Washington is going to be our starting left end. And normally what I've done last year was have our backup defensive ends who were really small play our nickel defensive ends like Peterson. But I think Washington is just as fast as Peter. He's just a little bit slower, but 76 speed is still decent. I'm going to have him play as much as he possibly can. Right end's a little bit different. Matt Stover was our starter last year. Same this year. Just because of his weight, because Golden is just doesn't weigh as much. About as strong, though. But he's going to be playing our nickel right end. So these 2 guys are going to rotate. Defensive tackle, James Jones. So this is a cool thing. If you notice at the bottom of the overlay, I've got a right tackle, Chad Hale, and then we got this guy right here as our some of our impact guys or our players to watch. So I've never put an offensive lineman on there. I want to give Hale some love until a skill player really emerges. And same for this kid right here. I think this kid's going to be really good for us. Left outside linebacker, Gary Lowe, who is now number 6. He is going to take place of Williamson off last year. Hopefully he can be just as productive. I need a lot of beef in the front 7 since we run a 3-4, since we're sacrificing a player down low. You can't get any bigger than 6'10", 246, an outside linebacker. Our 2 starting middle linebackers, Mitchell and McConnell. And then we got right outside linebacker Franklin Smith, who was amazing for us last season. So I'm really excited about that outside linebacker group. Corner, Cole Davidson's our number 1. Carpenter is still holding the other side. And I'm going to have our backup strong safety, Cliff Cowan, be our nickel. Normally I like to have speed here, but Davidson was our nickel, and he really struggled getting to the quarterback. I don't know if it was his awareness. I'm just not sure. But this gives me an excuse to get Cowan on the field a little bit more. And these guys do more than just try to blitz the quarterback. I mean, they're out in coverage. They're defending somebody. So this gives me an extra decent body right there. We got Thomas right here as well, but it's the awareness is what I really want. I want a smart dude in that star position, if you call it. We got Thomas behind him, which means I can actually play a little dime this year. Free safety, Matt Green, that's obvious. We got a heel behind him. Strong safety, impact player, Alan Dargan, so he's a definite starter, but Cowan's right behind him if needed. Kicker, pretty simple, Terrence Johnson. Punter, James Hines. Both those guys are going to start until they leave. Actually, we got to look at some special teams. Kick return. It doesn't matter per se what I got going on here, but I need speed and guys who at least can catch a little bit. I'm going to put Stevenson and Davidson as my number 1 and my number 2. At kickoff, it's okay if they drop the ball because they're not going to get hit because they're too far away. Defenders are once they actually catch it. But Stevenson is going to be my number 1, and then Davidson behind him. Oddly enough, Davidson can catch a little bit. He's got a 70 catch. And so I'm going to leave the same for punt returner, but I got Stevenson over Davidson because he can catch the ball better. Kickoff starter, I'm going to just put my kicker there. He's just better than my punter. Long snapper, I usually put my backup center here for extra reps so he can get a little bit better. However, our backup center this season is a redshirt senior, so I don't really care if he gets any better or not. No offense to him. If this was the freshman easily, that would be different. I'd have him be our long snapper. And that is it for the depth chart. I do want to go check out our team captains. You go to your overall roster, you go to awareness, and it's usually your most senior-laden smart guys. Right now, I went ahead and I put Austin Gaines. This was the kid that I misused last year. I should have put him down the defensive end to begin with, and I forgot, and he just got buried in the depth chart. Now I just kept him at outside linebacker because we got so much depth at defensive end. This guy's really slow. I just can't get him on the field. But I'm going to have him be my senior defensive captain. Plus, he's been here for 5 years, as you can tell. Our offensive captain is going to be Big Chad Hale, so I'm really excited about him with that. Let's go to program standards. The bar is at a good spot. I wish it was a little bit better, like down to nothing. Maybe we can have a backup player get in trouble and we can severely punish them and we'll get that bar down. That would be nice. I want to talk about playbook. So I'm really excited about this. I changed it up just a little bit. It's still the same pro style / air raid, except now if you look at the bottom of the overlay, I'm now calling it the I raid. I got rid of a few extra formations. I got all 6 I formations in the game. And I've never done this before in any offense. So this is the I raid. This is the I part, and this is the raid part right here. So I'm really excited that the 2 ace formations we got rid of, ace big twins and ace normal. Well, I supplemented them or switched them out with two tight end looks. I tight and I twin tight end. Normal is now in the playbook. Wide trips. This is going to be our package for Brigham. We got some really cool option plays. The passing plays in this formation is not the best in the world, so that's going to be a perfect spot for run a little option. I slot still in there. We're going to use wide trips mainly for like 3rd and long purposes, and we're going to do some of that with spread. But we're also going to use empty. This is taking place of gun 5 wide. About the same plays for the most part. It had a couple extra plays that I really liked, and by default, it's got our number 1 halfback in there. But I can use the sub package and get 5 wide receivers out there if needed. So this is the I raid, a new concoction. I'm really excited to see if we can put up a ton of points with it. I'll set up the audibles at some point. I think what we got to look at now is Athlon Sports. Let's look around the country, see what's going on. Preseason polls. The best team in the country, Florida State, far and away. I think they're poised to win it all this year. If they don't, something bad happen. Then you got Cal, Texas A&M, There's LSU we got to take on. Then we got Penn State we got to take on. Look, they're an A overall. That's just going to be a rough game. We're 13th, though, but we're the worst of the 15. We are a B overall. The rest of these are B plus or just better. But you look at our ratings here, or grades: C plus on offense, B plus defense, B plus on special teams. You keep on going. Iowa State's right behind us. Again, I may schedule them next season. Then we got Alabama, Florida. We got to take on those two this year. And it just goes on and on and on. Let's look at the Heisman watch. We don't have anybody on here, and I pretty much expected that. We got plenty of quarterbacks, though. Kid out of Florida State, Arizona, Syracuse, Texas A&M. And then we got this kid out of Nebraska. Maybe we can move somebody up here if our run game goes well, or Keys. Maybe he can go off this year. Let's go preseason options, or preseason All-Americans. Do we have anybody on the first team? I don't think we would. We do not. What about second team? It looks like we do not. What about all SEC? We'll have a couple guys at least. Let's look at the first team. Yes, we do. Free safety, Matt Green, well-deserved. I think he'll have a really good year this season. What about second team? Do we got anybody? Interesting. We got Ryan Avery. Now, I think the only reason why he's on there is because of the special teams from last year. I think he returned back a couple of touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. But he's like our fourth-string corner at the moment. But anyway, good to see him on the list. Let's go look at conference outlook. I think they'll have us fairly high. Yeah, they got a second overall just because of what happened last year. The top two teams in the conference are still number 1 and 2. But look here, Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, even Kentucky. The top 5 teams outside of Tennessee are all on our schedule. This is the toughest conference schedule this season we could possibly have. Then we got Ole Miss. Look at that, the top 6. We got Ole Miss. So we got the top 2 teams, 3 teams from the West in our conference. We are in our schedule. We're not taking on Arkansas. We're not taking on Mississippi State, and we're not taking on Auburn. So again, just a brutal conference schedule. I mean, as tough as it can possibly get, which is cool. We are the top in our division, but that Florida game is going to say a whole lot. Same with South Carolina. Kentucky gave us a halfway decent game last year. The West is just awful once you get past like Alabama. I guess Ole Miss is kind of decent. We'll see. Either way, it's just again a really brutal schedule. Let's go look at toughest places to play. We are in here somewhere. They got us 12th. Hopefully we can move this back up to number 1 where it belongs. We just need to win a bunch of more home games. I think we're ready to recruit. Let's talk about what we need. Let's go here. And it says we need about 15 spots to fill, no different than last year. It says we need some linebackers, both an outside and middle. What's interesting is, I don't know why, I think it's just a glitch. The 3-4 defense, it requires 5 active outside linebackers, which it technically should just be 4. I get the 4 middle linebackers, but 5 outside seems kind of goofy, but they're going to force one on us, and I don't want to put a walk on there. So we'll go see if we can find another outside linebacker. We need help at corner. So I've made my little list. I actually want to find a good fullback, a defensive end that's big enough that can handle that position, defensive tackle that's big enough. Again, I'm just looking for massive dudes, a defensive end, a defensive tackle. Cornerback, I already talked about. Tight end, I actually wouldn't mind finding one. I like to have 4 on the roster if possible. And then I just went ahead and put outside and middle linebacker on my list because the game is forcing me to do so, apparently. Let's look at pipelines. So this may be interesting. So Alabama's still a pipeline. I want to keep it. You can tell by the bar, they produced quite a bit of talent. So we're going to keep it. Florida is no longer a pipeline, or was it ever? I think I was trying to force it to be, but that's okay if it's not. Let's see. We can keep on going. I think North Carolina is next. I want to keep North Carolina as a pipeline. And yes, as you can tell here, it produces a decent amount of talent. Let's keep going. South Carolina is still a pipeline, all enough. I can still recruit it, but it's not going to be the biggest area of need. It's not even a border state. Tennessee, obviously. And this is interesting. Texas is a pipeline. And that's only because we picked up those 3 Texas 5-star kids. I guess that means, hey, we can recruit Texas. So I guess this is the new Florida for us. So we'll continue to recruit Texas. Might as well, if they're going to give us that extra advantage. And I think that is it for our pipelines. And yes, it is. So let's go to Tennessee. And let's just go find some dudes that we need at positions of areas of need. Fullback, no. Wide receiver, we're good there. Tight end, no. We're good on the line. Let's go defensive end. 250 and 200. Both these guys are top 50 players, but I need bigger dudes here. I mean, 250, 265 with Jermaine Washington is almost too light for me, but he was the 5-star player, so you had to go take him. Defensive tackle, 280. That's just not big enough. I'm sorry. Keep on going. Middle linebacker, 6'6", 225. I need some bigger dudes in the front seven in general since we're lacking a little size up front. I kind of like what I'm seeing here out of this kid, Gordon Bush. I like his height. 4'6", and he's smart. Let's go ahead and put a scholarship on him. Cornerback, I need speed and height. This guy doesn't have much of either. 4.37 is pretty fast, but I can find something better, I would think. Don't see any free safety. Strong safety, this isn't an area of need, but it's hard to find speed at strong safety. And this guy's also smart, and he's in-state. I think this guy's worth going after. Plus, he's at Oak Ridge, which is pretty kind of close to where I live. I think I'm going to put a scholarship on him. So those are the two guys we're going to go after from the state. Let's go to North Carolina next. If I can get to it. There we go. Let's go through these again. Halfback, we don't need. Fullback, what about tight end? 230, 231. That's a little too light for my liking for both of those. I'm going to move on. Let's go to defensive end. Nope. What about defensive tackle? 280, 280. If I could find somebody bigger and a little heavier, 655 on the squad's decent. I think we could just find somebody better, though. At least I'm hoping. No outside linebacker. Middle linebacker, 6'2", 234. He's stronger of these two. He looks okay. But I don't think we need... Out of Mount Airy. Hey, cool. Mayberry. Andy Griffith. Pretty neat. But I'm not going to go after him just yet. Free safety. There's not a big area of need, and that guy's too slow. So that's it out of North Carolina. Just what, one guy, if any? We didn't go after any, did we? Let's go check out Alabama. That's our next most important one. Fullback, 4.88. That's too slow. I'm sorry. Tight end, there's not one here. What about defensive end? 6'4", 240. That's too small. Defensive tackles, this guy, maybe. I don't know. I feel like we could find somebody bigger and better, though. Especially if we can find like a humongous athlete like we tried to in the offseason. Outside linebacker, this guy may be worth going after. Again, he's big. He's fast. He's not the smartest, but that's okay. But I need beef in the front seven. Let's go after this guy, John Parker. Middle linebacker, both these guys got some weight to them. This guy's much stronger overall, though. Jason Floyd, I kind of like him. I'm going to go after him, and he's faster, too. Cornerback, yes, 6'4", 4'2", pretty smart. Like, that's the perfect scenario for a cornerback. Let's go after him. This guy's much, he's still fast. 4.33 is pretty good, but he's only 5'11". I think this guy's definitely worth going after. Free safety, we don't need help here. However, we need to think about the future. Somebody we can redshirt next year and get them ready for when Green leaves. This may be Matt Green's last season, and I need speed and free safety in the worst way. And this guy, it's hard to find somebody in the 4.3s or faster at free safety. I like what I'm seeing here. Let's go after Garrett Lawrence. Strong safety, nope. And that is it for Alabama. That was a pretty good little list there, 4 of them. Now let's try Texas. Let's go to Texas. There should be plenty of bodies to look at. Fullback. All these guys are slow. I need somebody a little faster. Tight end. 6'8", 247. 5-star, A- on the awareness. If he can catch it all, I mean, just any, this kid would be an absolute stud on the offense. And he runs a 4.65. I mean, that dude is just the perfect. I mean, he looks incredible. He looks like Gronk, honestly. I'm going to go after him. We don't need any offensive linemen. We're kind of good there. Defensive end, 226, 245, 240. This guy's squat's halfway decent. That's not bad. But I wish he was just a little bit lighter, and weight does matter in this game. Defensive tackle, way too small. Too small. Middle linebacker, some 240s and 238 guys. It'd be one of these two. This guy's a little bit faster, but not as smart. I'll probably would go after Ellis Tate. I like him out of the bunch. Let's go after him. So that's like, what, 3 middle linebackers we're going after, which is what we need. We're a 3-4 team. We run plenty of middle linebackers. Free safety, 4.46. If he was a little bit faster, I'd probably go after him. Strong safety, too slow. Now let's go to South Carolina. See what we got going on here. No, let's go to our needs. Let's go to defensive end. Nope. Defensive tackle. Nope. Too slow or too small. Outside linebacker. This guy's, 6'3", 240 pounds. But I don't know if this guy will play. It'll be 2 or 3 years because we got young guys playing or starting for us right now. But 640 on the squat, 240 pounder. He fits what we need. I'll go ahead and put one on him. Corner, 6'3", 429. I think he's worth going after. He's not the smartest, but I think he's still worth going after. And that is it. So we got 2 spots to fill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to all. And then we're going to go find some areas of need. Like, I'd like to go look for a fullback. Let's see. Like here, these guys are all pretty fast. Where are they from? Michigan, Washington, Kentucky. That's cool. That's pretty close. He's not very big, but that's okay. He's still... this guy's not very big either. Let's see. That's kind of it. Do I need to waste any time or points or a scholarship on one of these guys when I could probably find somebody in the offseason? If you look at fullback, we're all upperclassmen. We need to find some dudes. And now, since we're running the I raid, fullbacks are very important in this offense. I'm going to get them more involved in the offense too. Out of all 4 of these, I kind of like the kid out of Kentucky the best. All 4 can run, but this guy, well, let me just think here. I probably need one of these 2 guys, don't I? I'll probably go after this one. The squad is so much better, which means he can block. That's run blocking, by the way. Let's go after this guy. I at least have a little bit of weight as opposed to this kid out of Kentucky. If this guy weighed a little bit more, I'd probably go after him. Plus, this guy's much smarter. So let's go after David Washington. We got one more spot to fill. I'd like to go find a defensive end or a defensive tackle that's humongous. Let's go look at defensive ends. Here are a couple 264 guys, 555 on their squats. Right here. This is what we need. He's out across the country, but out of Washington, Maple Valley, but 6'5", 297 pounds. I don't care if he's dumb as a rock. I don't care if he's slow either. He's just absolutely humongous. Let me just go through the rest of these just to make sure. Let's go after. I mean, you know how hard it is to find somebody that big at that position? I think he's the one we need to go after, obviously. So that's it. We're out of scholarships. That means we can go ahead and sim the week, and then we're going to go find 4 or 5 guys, and we'll just put our points on them. I'll go 5 at the most. I'd prefer to go 4. So let's go check that out. Let's go to in-season recruiting. Let's go find the positive pitches. So look at this. We're number 1 on this kid's list. That's that tight end. And you look at his hands. Like, this is the perfect tight end. Like, you can't do any better than that. I mean, we got to put points on, don't we? We got to. But let's go find some positive pitches just to make sure. Any positive pitch anywhere, you know, you got a really good chance of getting that kid. So far, I'm not seeing one. And that is it. But this kid right here, I'm going to go after because he's the defensive end that's humongous, and we just need bodies like that at that position. So let's put 20 there. So there is that. What about a corner? So this is the 6'4", the really fast kid. Yeah, the 4'2" out of Alabama. I think we need to go after this one. It's so hard to find super blazing, fast, and tall corners. The fullback, we can go after him. I mean, he fits what I'm looking for, but we can find probably another area of need. This is the other corner, 429 out of South Carolina. We probably need to go after at least one middle linebacker. How many middle linebackers we're looking at? Those 3 right there. Let's go pick one. So here's Gordon Bush, the kid out of Tennessee, 4'6", right at the bottom of the list, but that's okay. It's not, really doesn't matter. 4'6", 670. Then we got 4'5", 670. Then we got 4'5", 670. I think these 2 are the best of the bunch. This guy's a little bit smarter. Jason Floyd is compared to a C+. And this guy, again, he's slower, and I don't know. I think we got a better chance of getting this kid. Hey, he just kind of fits what I'm looking for. Fast and that big and that strong. That's worth going after. So I'm going to put 20 on this guy. Well, let me look at Tate. I may have missed him. Let me see here. 4'5", 670. These are just exact same players, aren't they? Exact same, except this guy's a little bit taller. Kid out of Texas, kid out of Alabama. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. I mean, an extra 3 inches on the height, just ain't going to make much of a difference. Let's just stick with the Alabama kid. Let's go 20 here. I could go after both of them if need be. Let's pick an outside linebacker. Let me just make sure. I think we're going after 3 there. Nope, just 2. Let's go pick an outside linebacker. Probably this kid, Lou Lowry out of South Carolina. Right at the top of his list, too, which makes things a little bit easier. 640. Same type of guy. South Carolina, Alabama. Let's go after this kid right here. So we're out of points. Is there anybody I really need to go after? We're going after that corner. This free safety could have been really nice, but I think we got okay bodies there. One thing we can maybe look is our roster. And that's strong to say. Dargan, so Callan will be gone in a couple years, and then we got a redshirt sophomore. These guys got some speed to them. A couple sophomores. Free safety, junior, sophomore. I don't know. Well, it's just we got to go by need and what's just really good for us. Let's go back out. And it froze again. What in the world's going on? Okay, I swear this thing's been freezing up on me lately. Let me go here before things get even worse. I think we're good. We got the corner. We got the tight end. I like the outside linebacker, and I like the middle linebacker, and we need this defensive end. I think that is it. I think we don't need a free safety or a strong safety. So I'm okay not going after one of those. And this kid, I wouldn't mind putting points on, but it's just not the biggest need compared to this. Tight end would be great. This corner would be a day one starter. The only thing is, I don't know if this guy will play hardly at all. Like, it'll be years before he ever gets to play because we got young pups playing at outside linebacker as he is. Is there anybody... One of these safeties I actually wouldn't mind trying to go after. Like this kid right here, it's so hard to find a free safety like that. 4.39, 4.3. I think I'm just going to take, let's do this. You can always move middle linebackers to outside linebackers, but you really can't move anybody to free safety. Like it's a unicorn position. So I think we're going to do that. So we're going with tight end, cornerback, a free safety, Alabama, Texas, middle linebacker out of Alabama, and then a kid out of Washington. So none of the Tennessee kids I just went after, which is fine. I mean, we'll always have that pipeline. All right, so those are the 5 we're going to go after. So next up, we have Penn State. So they lost their first game. They got beat by somebody who knows what. But remember, we're going to do our COVID wheel. We're going to see who's going to sit out that game. Hopefully it's like, I don't know, somebody that's not all that we can get by with. Either way, I'm really excited to get the season started, and I know you are too. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.